the conclusion of my personality is its inconclusive nature. So it's like this paradox that I'm trying to work around so that I can finally establish a sense of self. And so I just constantly think about it. So any interaction I have with people, you know, this is why I can never become close to people, because how do I explain to them I'm one thing one minute and I'm different the next minute, and I'm constantly changing. And
Hmm.
within 10 minutes I can go through three different, they can think I'm three different people, because I may react one way, then I may start thinking about something and become very quiet, and then suddenly maybe I'll just be bursting with energy and they'll think I was just, what are you doing? Like, at times, it just, nothing is ever certain. And that drives me crazy because I need order. I need some kind of established order. So,
No, this is really. I don't know. I mean, we've covered a lot of interesting stuff in the video thus far, but this is. I'm relating very heavily to this, and I
this
mean,
is the most hard hitting,
pardon?
extroverted feeling. That's the
Well,
most
if
hard
that's what
hitting
it
thing
is,
ever.
but I mean, it's just like totally can I totally understand that problem in that what you're saying is people think they can understand you and they
Right,
can't. And
right,
I explained that to one friend one time, and I explained that it wasn't a cry for help, it wasn't anything else like that, but it was I was asking them not to keep thinking that they knew me, and I was
right,
explaining that sometimes I feel so alone because pretty much nobody does know me, and I mean that's part of being a human, but
right,
but for my own personal experience relative to all the or a large portion of the traits that people thought that I had or feelings that they thought I had towards them were their thoughts, not
right,
actually the reality within me. And I couldn't always break everybody's heart to show them all that, but so many people that knew me, so they thought, just never did. And I don't, and then therefore I wouldn't actually even try to reveal so many aspects of myself.
right.
And
It
it's
just
just like,
becomes more of a hassle to actually explain to them than to just cover it up. And I think, do you ever feel like the people who are closest to you sometimes know you less than a perfect stranger might, because you've gotten conditioned to acting a certain way around them?
well, I haven't analyzed why, but I definitely agree. And you take something like, my family with my ESTJ father, and there are ways that he and I can connect or talk about things that are really good. But his idea of family is that the close knit family is really important, and I value family, or I value some things, but I value, I guess he doesn't understand. I guess friends and stuff like that. I like just making new connections, but more important than just some blood family ties for me are the emotional, like people call me emotionally, or people would say I'm gullible because I'm too trusting. I've trusted a lot of people at different times. Once you break the trust, then that is broken, or but there can be something that's not related to me that I shouldn't like for reasons X, Y, and Z. But if my empathy and the human condition causes me and that person to connect enough, they can be so much emotionally closer to me and closer to my spirit essence, whatever, than somebody in my family. And that's just how I feel, you know.
Right.
Um, and so I really value that. It's sad because there's some people I can say I value that know me better than a lot of other people close to me,
Right. I agree.
and then but some of those people they come and go just like I do,
Yeah.
and it's sad, but it's like you really like those people, and it's
Can
sad.
never seem to last.
It never seems to last. You're sad to see them go, but and this is why I was asking why I because I was catching some of that. Yeah, so I was asking if any of this was related to well whatever. Um, I'm glad that I hope this is positive. Everything anyhow,
No, no,
but
yeah, no. I'm just extremely happy that you found something that really kind of hits the nail on the head. This is something that I find difficult to express to people in the first place, so it's kind of nice to get it out there too.
hmm,
So and like you said, you kind of feel like nobody knows you, and it's isolating in its own way. You feel like you're kind of alone. You don't have somebody that naturally just gets you like that. And
Yeah.
so my sister is definitely the one person. Me and her talk about things like this all the time in depth. It's like we're the only people we can tell this to because we still have that similarity with the FJ. The extroverted feeling and the introverted thinking. I guess it's mostly FE though. We sit there and talk for hours about how no one will ever know another person completely. It's just impossible because we think about how much time we spend thinking about ourselves and how complex it can get and how just nobody will ever know you like yourself. That is probably the most like profound piece of advice I've ever heard in my life. But um that's just like the biggest problem on my mind. I can't ever express it to people. So it's nice to be able to talk about it for once. It's like it's not something you go up to people and say, "Hey, nice to meet you. Let me tell you about my personality problems. Let me tell you about my problems with understanding myself. This is why I don't want to be friends with you. Goodbye." Just it doesn't
Oh, that's the
happen.
scary thing is I'd almost like to do that with people. Is just like I'd almost like to, and I can be zany enough where I might get close to throwing a lot of it on the table sometimes. You can't throw it all. But I'd almost like to just give a huge, long disclosure. Or I've even thought about, I mean, in the dating circles or anything else like that, I've even thought about giving my ex-girlfriend as a reference, being like, could you just call my ex-girlfriend, talk to her for like 2 hours and, see if this is going to, like, I'd rather actually bear it all. There's so much to communicate. I leave my Facebook open. I actually hope that, do you do Facebook stalking?
Oh yeah, all the time.
See, now some people find Facebook stalking as like immoral or
I use it as a way to find resources on people to gather information, I guess.
Well, but I mean, it's there as like, if somebody's going to interact with me and they have any questions about me, I want them to stalk me. If somebody has, if they can save all the time and they can look at my stuff on my Facebook and then when they talk, I want my life to be an open book for the most part. It just makes it easier. Now there's other aspects of that, so I think I've got to close now. I think I closed it recently to, totally to the total, totally out there. But friends of friends, I think is still. But I wouldn't find it creepy if somebody's looking at my Facebook stuff because it's like, okay, yeah, look at my pictures all the way through my life. Now you've got more of an understanding of me. Good, like, that's almost my desire is.
I enjoy putting that stuff out there for some reason. It's it's like I don't like to be I can be very comfortable with people very easily just because I'm reading their character so carefully when I'm around them, and if I'm relaying information to them, it doesn't weird me out to tell them, oh yeah, I was born on this day, blah blah blah, if I've known them for 20 minutes because I'm already gathering specific information about them to tell whether or not they're a serial killer. So I feel pretty confident in that assessment. But I like to share things very honestly about myself with people, and I find myself being extremely open if the other person makes me feel comfortable. Like, extremely open. Like, I can say whatever. I can even say, hey, before we started talking, I totally Facebook stalked you, and I even asked, like, 5 people about you. I'll tell them that if they make me feel comfortable enough, just because,
See, but that bothers some people. It's like, oh my goodness, those things are so taboo, and I'm just like, that's what Facebook's for. And I told that ENFJ friend that once. I was like, yeah, some people, and she's like, whatever, let's move over. We're gonna Facebook stalk this person or whatever. It's just like.
I think everybody does it. If they don't, they're lying. They're lying. Everybody tries it, and sometimes I'll find myself going through people's profiles just because I walked by them at one point, maybe in my university. Like, oh, I saw your face, and I'm like, oh, I'm curious about you. I just kind of look up information about them, and before they know it, I can know their music taste and who their best friends are, and that they ate this pizza for dinner last night because their Facebook is so open. And I don't even care about the person. I just gather those details unconsciously. And it's so creepy in its own way. So I'll kind of be walking past the person, maybe on my way to class, and just look at them and be like, yeah, I bet you that pizza was good last night, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking to myself how creepy I am for recognizing that and how they have no idea I'm walking by them and knowing what they ate for dinner. Like, that's beyond creepy, but I don't know. It's just a natural way of gathering information for me. So